I have a 4-year-old stepson. He was 3 a year ago. 3 is a difficult age. And he would scream to get his way. And he would fight and claw. And it took a long time, and it took a lot of compassion and work. But he's since become a really beautiful and loving almost 5-year old. He's just next door. You might hear him shout and play a little bit. So he would get so anxious with the ways that he felt powerless in the world, and he would fight out against that. And it's been really beautiful to watch him as he grows come into a more, honestly mature, because he's growing up, but a more productive relationship with challenge of the world, a more curious relationship with it. So this is a series that I'm exploring the transformations that are happening in the world right now and how to approach those with a deeper quality of humility. I've already shared that I think a really useful metaphor for understanding our place in the world is the metaphor of psychological development. And this is useful because the places where we're attached to being angry at our parents or our parents' parents or our generation or the world at all for how it is acting out in this transformation, it's really useful just to remember this is evolving. We are evolving. And just like it is not fair to judge a 3-year-old for acting like a 3-year-old, but still appropriate to engage with them and witness the transformation, so I think it's useful to have that attitude with us as a culture and ourselves individually. I had a moment just yesterday where I was acting out and I was and if I can witness that, and when I witness that with love for myself and a willingness to not be perfect, then it just helps me approach transformation with less tension and attachment and anxiety. One of the domains of transformation, one of the domains that is being utterly transformed or is going through a maturation process is power. A couple really great books on this are, I think, Reinventing Organizations is wonderful and looks at power structures in institutions through an integral lens, and that's really inspired me. But one of the places that we seem kind of in a like one of these with in our relationship to power is our identity as victims and our identification with a power network that depends on victims and the idea of victims in order to hold structures of power in place and honestly hold our life force back where it's safe, rather than allowing us to offer our full gifts, to forget that we have power and to instead fall into our belief in ourselves as a victim. I think it's the main way, or I think it's one of the main ways that we hold back our gifts. And I think it's one of the main things that's changing right now is I see a lot of people more and more rising out of victim consciousness and wrestling with victim consciousness. The thing that I think is really important here in allowing this energy to move through our bodies and this transformation to happen is to recognize our own power, and our own role in that is to witness how victim consciousness comes up in us. We each have a preferred position in the drama triangle that we like to start in. And once you're in the drama triangle, you're bound to play all three of them. The victim, the persecutor, and the hero. I'm just going to assume people are familiar with those. My preferred entry position is the persecutor. But once I persecute and blame, I will eventually be rejected, which will make me a victim. And then I won't be able to handle the sense of my own rejection, so I'll try to save someone else. Now, there's an evolution of the drama triangle called the empowerment triangle, which is really cool. And the idea of that is the victim becomes a creator, because the victim senses something's wrong and decides that they need to change something. They need to create something different. The hero becomes the coach, so it goes from let me save you to how can I support you in building what you're building. And then the persecutor, and this one's my favorite, I love this. The persecutor goes from blaming to challenging, becomes a challenger. Oh, I don't think you're living up to your highest truth right now. and I'm challenging you to think a little more broadly, and I'm willing to be wrong. So there's even a humility there's a humility in each of these roles, but core to it is the belief that if I am experiencing something, I have that then it is my purpose here to dance with that and move with that. And if something has to change, then I have to change it. If there is authorship to be done here that's required, it's not someone else who has to do it, but it's me. The power structures that we live in our culture, the political power structures, the commercial power structures, corporations and whatnot, it's so easy just to be like, things are wrong, these people are doing it wrong. But really all that does is it puts the responsibility for taking care of the universe onto something else rather than owning what has to be created here. And it's not that those existing power structures are unpowerful. They're not. They're very powerful in their way. But there are emerging power structures that are even more powerful. In integral psychology, there's a transcend and include process, and I think this happens with power structures as well. So this is obvious in our history when you look at the power of kings, say, and how that power then became subverted to the will of the people and commerce with industrialization and with more modern economics and capitalism, and then how are even those forces becoming a part of a larger thing, and what is that larger thing? I think decentralization has a lot to do with it, but I don't know, and I don't think we can really know right now, at least until this finishes unfolding. But the point is, whatever seem to be the stuck power structures that are really in charge of things, that image of a static power structure that has to be changed out there is I just think that's a poison, because it really stops me, I'll say, from owning my power and making the changes and doing the things that I can do. And then finding real power in that. One of my favorite resources for this is holacracy. Holacracy is a method of structuring an organization. It's how we structure our organization that distributes power not in a non-hierarchical way, but in a way that has living hierarchies that shift and move, which removes a lot of the pressure and also makes drama unsustainable. So I've been ending each of these episodes, say, with a little meditation, and I actually just don't feel like that right now. So please follow the channel. We have 2 more little episodes like this in this sequence, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much.